Readers, by now you have already chosen the first novel that you will be reading in this unit. You are holding in your hands a novel that is written by brilliant contemporary novelists, writers who are writing new stories for your generation. Each of the novels has made a significant contribution to contemporary literature, which means these writers are considered some of the greatest writers of your age. It may be hard for us to remember this, but many novels that are now considered classics, from novels like The Scarlet Letter to one such as The Outsiders, were edgy, provocative literature when they were originally published. They were controversial. Many were even banned. And it was this edginess, the newness of what they were doing, that made them so significant. Now, a new generation of writers are writing with the same edginess and newness, and you're holding their significant novels in your hands. These novels are full of beauty and complexity, and that means your reading practices will also need to be full of beauty and complexity. A scholar of reading, Robert Scholes, says that you get out of reading what you bring to it. And so this unit has two goals. One goal of this unit of study will be to help you develop more sophisticated reading practices so you can unlock the secrets of more sophisticated novels. And a second goal is for you to discover and fall in love with the novelist of your generation and the books they are writing for you. In this first part, or this first bend of the unit, you'll be working on developing habits that will help you engage with complex and challenging literature. Then in Bend 2, you'll move into thinking about power inside and through these novels. In Bend 3, you'll think about which of these books you'll recommend to other readers and include on a reading list. Today, I want to alert you to a strategy that really helps readers organize themselves to tackle well known, challenging books. Reading about the book. Readers can seek out reviews to get preliminary information about things like the characters, the setting, or the conflict, so they can begin their reading at a higher level. Here's why this matters. These novels you will read are complicated. One way they are complicated is that they often have multiple plot lines and more than one major character. Another way they can be challenging is that the settings are often nuanced, so that you need to pay attention to the place and what is happening in that place at the time. But the biggest way that these novels are challenging is that they have serious social conflicts and identity issues built deep into them. So you need to be doing your best reading so as to unlock these novels, and a little preparation can make a big difference. Now I want you to watch a trailer for a film that a lot of you will know. It's about a place called Wakanda, where a hero named the Black Panther lives. Let's imagine you've heard about this film and you want to know a bit more about it before watching it. So while you're watching the trailer, I want you to do two things. I want you to be ready to describe what this trailer suggests about the characters and the setting. And then be ready to describe any of the conflicts and issues the story might address. All right, go ahead and pause this video and go back to the lesson platform to watch the trailer. All right, readers, you probably noticed a lot. If you didn't already take a second to answer those two questions in your notebook, pause the video and do that before we move on. So you may have noticed that the story seems to take place sometime in the future, where there is incredible technology and there is a hidden land, Wakanda, where the main character lives, and that land seems secluded and secret. You might have noted that there are powerful female characters in this story, warriors and scientists. And there's a conflict between Black Panther and his enemies. You might have noted that the story tackles race issues as well, and there were hints of the society wanting to remain separate to protect its people. Here's the thing, readers. You're not going to find movie trailers for most of the books you're reading. Instead, for the same kind of hints and background information that trailers offer for movies, you can turn to certain kinds of book reviews. And just as a good trailer gets you excited to see a movie, but it doesn't give away the ending, a helpful review introduces the story to you, but doesn't give away the story. There are a few places to find reviews that tend to be helpful before reading a challenging book. These suggestions are somewhat organized from easier to harder. So if I want to find out just a bit of essential information, Goodreads is great. If I want to know more about its deeper themes or author's craft, the New York Times will probably give more information. If I want a little bit of both, an introduction to the characters and the themes, Kirkus can be great. Let's try this workout with the book Pride, our new read aloud text. Here's part of the Kirkus review. Skim it for a moment. Think about what you've learned about the characters and the place. Do you get any hints of the social issues the story might deal with? You can also go back to the lesson platform for your own copy of this review. So it feels like we've learned a lot that will help us start reading the book at a higher level, already thinking critically. We're going to read some of this book tomorrow, but for now, let's jot a little bit of what we learned. And in a minute, I'm going to show you the notes that I took after reading this review. Let's see. We found out that this story is a remix of an earlier famous novel, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And the main character's name is Zuri. She lives in Bushwick, which is part of Brooklyn. Zuri is part of a large Haitian Dominican family. And then the Darcy brothers move in across the street. And clearly things get complicated fast between Zuri and one of the Darcy brothers, Darius. You might have noticed that gentrification seems like it's going to be an issue in the book. And the review hints that there are issues of race and class tangled up between Zuri and Darius as well. Readers, we will be reading some of Pride together. But what's much more important is that whenever you are about to pick up a challenging, well-known novel, it makes sense to get yourself ready to read at a higher level. When you were younger, that meant reading the back of the book. But now it means reading some reviews. And you have some good ideas for where to find those reviews. So let's think about your work and what you will do today. First, you'll spend a few minutes finding a review for the novel that you'll be reading using a device and the recommended search terms. Second, spend 5 to 10 minutes reading that review and jotting some very lean notes. Then, third, with that information in hand, dive into the beginning of your novel. Okay, off you go.